Rise and shine light and opulent solution seekers. It's your girl, the spiritual activist, coming to you with another word, message, spout of wisdom, whatever you want to call it. All right, so I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I have some of the most extreme, weirdest, lucid, if you want to call it, dreams ever. They're pretty fascinating. Sometimes I really wish I could really, recreate them in a movie or something. They're pretty amazing, but sometimes they're just intrusive. But on another note, sometimes they're very I don't want to say prophetic, but just they have some wisdom embedded in them in some kind of way, like a message, at least for me. And sometimes it's a message that I feel like I could share, because one of my biggest mottos in conquering the mind and just the energy of this world is I don't believe in losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that I feel like is designed to oppress me, whether it really is or if that's just how I feel, I find a way to reframe it in a way that I'm going to come out on top. I'm going to win at the end of the day. Even if I slip up, even if I trip, even if I fall, I'm going to find a way where I win. Because that's how you make it. That's how you do it. You can't let nothing bring you down. You see what I'm saying? You just can't. People think you a stereotype. You're going to be this, you're going to be that. Prove them wrong. That's how you win. So one of the things is I was reflecting on Black History Month. For some reason, I'm like, dude, Black History Month is over. Why am I thinking about that in April? But it made me start thinking, there's always these debates within our community about certain things that we find important. We got to talk. We love Black folks. We love to talk. I'm sorry. We do. But, some people believe Black History Month and African American, that label is like the worst thing that happened to us, or it's just a disservice or a disgrace to us as a community. And I get where they're coming from with it, but my thing is, I was just thinking, I was like, if we took away Black History Month and just made it okay, Black History is all year long, to me as a Black person, that's already implied. What we have to realize is we hold the power always, 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 always. People, the problem is people have tricked us into believing that they hold the power. They do not. We continue to hold the power. We continue to drive and fuel the economy. We continue to be the it factor, the reason why they're always wanting to research and study us to figure out how to get in their head, what makes them spend their money, what makes their energy triggered, spiked, emotional, all these things. How can we manipulate them? But so, some people if we took away Black History Month and just made it oh no, it's all year round. We don't need a month to specifically talk about Black History Month. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be out of sight, out of mind. It's not what Black History Month is for me, how I've empowered this month. There may be something that was designed to take away. I don't know. But all I know is I'm not going to make it take away from me and my culture, and my community, and my history. For me, I look at it as a time to highlight, to honor, to bring concentrated focus. I've mentioned this before when I've talked about relationships. But when consciousness is energy, right? So when two or more people have the same focus, basically the same thought, that magnifies or intensifies the energy. So when you create a month that brings everyone's attention, hello, we're highlighting you, we're shining a light on this, we're honoring the people who came before you on these 28 days. Yeah, I know it's the shortest month, but whatever. Now you magnify the energy. Now this is a moment to capitalize on and bring awareness that may be brushed under the rug any other time, because it's a time when everyone is paying attention, versus if it's oh, this is just April 3rd, a random day. It's nothing specific. Yeah, Black History will be all year long, but no one's going to have a day that they really make a note to concentrate and focus on, right? So the intensity, the power, the outside of the marketing pond. Yes, I know it's a marketing. They've learned how to capitalize. I'm sorry, we're in America. We're in this world. It revolves around money. So, yes, they're going to find ways to capitalize off of every trend, every focus, because they understand the power of that energy. But what I'm saying is we have to understand that power as well and use it to honor and to uplift. And this is the most powerful time to venerate our ancestors, because everyone is focused on it. Everyone is bringing that awareness and bringing that level of respect and wanting to shine and pay homage to these people who lended their backs for us to walk on. You know what I mean? To elevate ourselves, put themselves in situations that we wouldn't even want to dream of. So that's how I look at it. And do you see how the motto of I don't believe in losing come into play with that? Now something that people can complain about and say, oh, we shouldn't have this, we shouldn't have that. I want you to really think about what would be worse. Having a month that represents us or not having a month. To me, I feel like we keep it and we use it to uplift. We use it as a moment to focus our energy, to focus our love and our light and our respect and honoring. That's how I look at it. So, yeah. It's a moment to capitalize for us. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to reflect on for some reason. It just really was strong in my heart to do. I was like, I can't wait a whole year just to post this on February. But I'm going to repost it on February. I'm going to re-upload it again just because, why? The focus is going to be there in February. When I have that Black History pop up, boom, everybody going to want to click it because it's Black History Month. Right now, it may get passed over. But this is part of a concept that I've coined as riding the wave. But actually, that's not what I coined it as. Well, actually, I call it like money surfing. But it comes from the idea of riding the wave. It's like you ride, and I use this more in conscious consuming, but it's more like sometimes when you're trying to be successful, you have to understand and know how energy works and how the collective works and knowing how to ride that wave. And knowing that when something's trending, whether it's become trivialized or not, that does not take away from this true essence. Don't let the annoyance of trivialization, I'm probably making up words, but people just oversaturating something, overdoing something that makes it like, oh my God, I'm just tired of hearing this. Like spirituality, for one, because I'm one of the people I irritate myself, but I can't stop talking about it because it still needs to be understood. You know what I'm saying? But don't let that take away from the true essence or the validity or the importance of something because it's been trivialized. Because sometimes that is part of the agenda. You trivialize something so much that people no longer want to associate with it because it's overstimulating at this point. No, don't let that work. Like I say, it's all about winning. Anything that is designed, that I feel can empower my people, I will not allow someone to take from me. I will not allow someone to warp and manipulate. I'm going to find a way to allow it to serve its purpose. So, yeah, that's just my take. And I hope you found some kind of gems in some form, some way. But as always, keep God first. Peace, love, light, and healing energies. Be open to receiving them. I love you guys. Peace out. All right, guys. So, it's Wednesday. I'm sorry. Can't talk this morning. It's Wisdom Wednesday. And with that, I make an intentional note to post something that I feel like has something of value for the collective, for the community, African American, the Black freedmen, descendants, Black Americans. and black people around the world, but I do focus on what I know, and what I know is what I know. And I was just thinking about the spiritual awakening experience for the African American soul, or the black soul, and so, and don't let how you view yourself stop you from listening. I'm sorry what label you use. If you use melanated, Afro, indigenous, more, whatever you use, don't let that cloud your judgment. There's a lot of labels designed to distract and deflect from the bigger picture. So focus, okay? As Auntie Tab says, focus. But so yeah, there's a lot that has hijacked the spiritual awakening experience for the black person, and I just want to explain something. So when new concepts come into human consciousness, or community, there's a learning curve, there's a spectrum, there's a processing period. So this is just in general. If you work in corporate businesses, they're gonna tell you, like, it's called like a pilot. When they pilot something, that means they're testing it out to see, like, okay, how's it gonna work? What's gonna happen? What's the reaction? What's the success rate? All this data, right? The brain is the same thing. It's a bunch of data. So when we learn a new concept, or when we bring a new concept into our level of awareness, like say gentle parenting, for instance, random, I just picked that, okay, nothing in particular, no particular reason. So you're gonna have extremes you're gonna have a spectrum, and on the spectrum there's gonna be extremes on both levels. They're gonna be extreme in mass and extreme in minus, meaning the doers of extreme and the not doers of extreme, the lenients and the radicals, or I forgot what's the opposite of the radicals, liberals, I believe. So you're going to have the parents who don't even want to breathe on their child too hard because they don't want to traumatize them, versus the parents who beat their children senseless for the smallest thing. And I'm being very extreme, guys, but I'm just saying, like, I just have to kind of paint a picture for you what I'm saying on the ends of the spectrum, which is black and white thinking. It's versus the gray area, which allows people to kind of tweak and modify things and take things, take things with a grain of salt, not as a holy grail, not to the head, not just to the extreme of everything. And in this learning curve, like I said, there's going to be a lot of perceptions and perspectives that may seem outlandish, crazy. Anyone who's ever been through what they would maybe label as a spiritual awakening can't tell me there's nothing that they've kind of believed at one point that now they was like, bro, I can't believe I was like doing that, or I was thinking that, or what the hell was I, that was some crazy stuff. So that just tells you we have to give ourselves grace as we're going through this. And a lot of times when I'm bringing awareness to something, it's never out of a judgmental or malicious or clowning type of energy. Like, I'm not trying to cap on you. I'm not trying to like shame a person or a leader or a teacher. I'm just really trying to bring awareness. And sometimes my methods or my way could be offensive, but I really try my best to be intentional about how I deliver what I feel like is divine downloads. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that there is going to be things within our community, because within the black community we cut from the same cloth. That's how we feel. We're very closely intertwined, even though there's different groups, and those groups are becoming more and more distinctive because black people are feeling more confident and stepping outside of the norms or the boxes that we've been prescribed and that have been infiltrated into our community. We're seeing ourselves, our identity outside of stereotypes, and not all of them are bad, but we're just opening our horizons to more variety and realizing that it's okay to be multifaceted. That's what makes us unique and different, and the pioneers of this world, in my opinion. So All I'm saying is to say that it's okay to have differences in parenting styles. With this gentle parenting, for me, like I said on my previous episode called Black History Month, I was talking about never losing. I don't believe in losing. And so the way I look at it is like, yeah, a lot of gentle parenting to me has, put a little bit of toxicity in parenting and kind of has created a generation of entitled brats. I'm sorry to say, because like I said, the black spirit to me is very unique and different than others, and a lot of times we take Eurocentric standards and we try to squeeze like a square peg into a round hole. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't work for us. And that's not to say be it straight up traditional like our parents were maybe in the older generations, but it is to say that there are some things we can keep and there are some things that we can modify. I'm always in the middle. A lot of times people take crossroads as a way to pick this way or pick that way. You're indecisive. But the way I look at crossroads is it's a merging point. It's taking a little bit of this, being a little bit of that. It's a sampler of life. So with that being said, I believe in meeting in the middle. I preserve some of the traditional things that I feel like did shape and mold me in positive ways. And maybe I release or just modify or alter some of the things that I feel like didn't. And so this is where I say, like, a lot of times people want to take something that's been put in our community and as holy girl, not with a grain of salt. This is what worked for that person. Yes, maybe for a lot of the masses, it could work for us as a community. But sometimes a message is specifically for that person and their family. It does not mean you have to feel a pressure to do it to the T exactly like that, or else you're not black. You know what I'm saying? We hold our label as a community a little bit too close around our neck. And it does become like a noose, just choking the life out of us. You know what I'm saying? That pressure. But yeah, so if one parent wants to be more, how can I say, lenient, and that works for them, fine. But just like we know, every human is different. Children are human. Every child is different. Every temperament is different. You can have octuplets, triplets, twins, and each and every last one of them can be like a totally different child because they are a totally different child. So that lets you know a parent with 4 kids, they may have to have 4 different parenting styles. And maybe none of them are typical what we would consider black parenting styles. Or maybe they are. All I'm saying is everything that we hear or that's put into us or that's, being represented by a black face does not mean that you have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Cosign, or basically like you have to accept. You don't have to accept that as your truth or as your method. You do what's right for you and your child. It's okay to take advice, because I will be doing a conscious parenting webinar one day. I'm just going at my own pace. I'm not letting all these other people that I see push me or pressure me. I'm on God's time, nobody else's. But yeah, I digress. So yeah, everybody has wisdom, but like I said, you have to know how to take a person's wisdom with a grain of salt, because maybe some of it may resonate with you and some of it may not, and that's okay. You pick and choose and you create your own foundation. It doesn't have to be the same brick. You take a brick from there, you take a brick from there, you take a brick from there. At the end of the day, it's still stable. You're putting it together like a quilt. Different pieces from different pieces of fabric, different vessels, and you're putting it together to create a sound foundation for you and your family. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. And don't take it just as, oh, this is all about gentle parenting. No, the concept is bigger. It's just I use gentle parenting as the way to break down this concept of what I'm trying to tell you when it comes to a lot of the infiltration I feel like that's coming and hijacking a Black awakening experience. And I did just post something on my stories that kind of goes along with that and says a little bit more. But feel free to look at that. The spiritual activist, the.spiritual.activist on IG. But yeah, I'm at work now, so as always, keep God first. Peace out, guys.